Morning, dear students. As yesterday we have finished with the metallurgy or extraction of aluminium. Now let's see the different methods of purification or refining. As still we have discussed how to opt the crude metal from the ore. Now crude metal, or you may say the impure metal, they must be having some other impurities that can be removed by the different refining or purification process. Depends on the nature of the impurities and the nature of the metal that we are going through. So why still the metal is impure while we are using the number of ways by which the impurities can be removed? Now the crude metal that we have opted till the time may be associated with the small amount of either the unchanged ore, maybe small amount of ore is still unchanged, the other metals that is being formed by the reduction of their compounds which are present in the ore. The non-metals which may not be converted into volatile oxides and still there as silicon, carbon, phosphorus, etc. Maybe some residual slag or residual flakes is also present in the crude metal. So the process of purification of this crude metal is known as the purification or refining process. So there are number of methods. The most common methods we are discussing today. The first is the distillation process. We all are familiar with the distillation process, as you have studied the distillation process in class 10th as well as in class 11th also. So the distillation process or the method is based on where the metal is easily volatile while the impurities are non-volatile in nature. So we may say that is applied in cases in which the metal is volatile in nature while the impurities are having the high boiling point. For example, zinc, copper, mercury, etc. In the process, we are to heat the metal, the impure metal you may say, the crude metal you may say, in an iron retort, and when it get volatile, it can be condensed in a receiver. So by which we can separate the impurities from the metal. The next method is the liquefaction process. So what is the principle behind it? It is actually based on the different fusibility of the metal as well as the impurities. So we may say the process is applied where the impurities are less fusible. If they are less fusible, it means they must be having the high melting point, while the metals, they are having low melting point, or you may say they are highly fusible in nature. If we see the examples, so bismuth, tin, lead, and as well as in mercury, the process can also be done. During the process, what we are to do, we are to take the crude metal and we are to heat this crude metal in inert atmosphere on a sloping hearth. So when we heat the crude metal on a sloping hearth of a reverberatory furnace, what happen? The metal, as that is having the low melting point, that's why it melts and can be received in a receiver. It flows down. We have taken a sloping hearth, so it moves down and can collect it in a receiver, while impurities will be left behind because they are less fusible in nature. The next method is the electrolytic refining. It is the most important method, you may say. With the help of this method, number of metals such as copper, silver, gold, aluminium, lead, they can be refined. So what we have to do in the method, as we are able to see, it is electrolytic refining that we have already discussed in case of aluminium also. It means electrolysis would be taken place in the method. So generally, if we see the general, so the impure metal is to be prepared as a anode. So we are to convert the impure metal in the form of a electrode. So it form anode while the thin sheet of that pure metal is to be taken as cathode, and it is to be electrolyzed in a electrolyte that we are to take in the container, either the soluble salt of that pure metal or the double salt of the pure metal. So we may take the example of copper or zinc. As we have discussed the metallurgy of copper and zinc, so in both the cases we can use this particular method. So if suppose we are talking about copper or zinc, so we are to make anode of the impure metal, either that would be copper or zinc, and cathode as the pure metal, either that would be the copper or zinc. As an electrolyte, we can take the aqueous solution of copper sulfate or zinc sulfate that would be acidified with sulfuric acid. So on passing electricity, on passing electric current, what will happen? We are able to see at cathode, as at cathode always we see that reduction takes place. So at cathode, the copper ion or the zinc ion, whatever we have taken as an electrolyte. If we are talking about copper refining, so we are to take copper sulfate solution with sulfuric acid, and if we are talking about zinc, so we are to take zinc sulfate with sulfuric acid. So suppose if I am talking about the copper one, so the copper ion from the electrolyte moves towards the cathode. As I have told you, the reduction would be taken place. So copper ion plus 2 electron will get copper, and that pure copper would be deposited on the cathode. And at anode, as always oxidation takes place, so what will happen? As the copper ion move towards the cathode, so the equivalent amount of copper from this anode get dissolved in the electrolyte. So copper after de-electronation will move towards the electrolyte, and again these copper ions will move towards the cathode. So like this, the process will going on till the time all the impure copper from this anode rod will move towards the cathode rod and get deposited on it. Now let's see the impurities. There would be two kind of impurities possible in the case of copper: the more electropositive impurities and less electropositive impurities. As in the case of copper, the more electropositive impurities are iron, nickel, cobalt and zinc. So it will pass in the solution of the electrolyte in the form of the ions. While the less electropositive impurities, for example, we may say antimony, tellurium, selenium, silver, gold and Hg, platinum, it may be there. So they would be settled down in the form of anode mud or in the form of anode sludge. They won't affected with the copper sulfate or sulfuric acid, so it would be collected in the form of anode mud. Here we may show them also that these impurities, these are less electropositive impurities, and that may be write as anode mud. So these all the less electropositive metals would be collected below the anode. Now like this we can refine the zinc as well as copper, and for the aluminium we have already discussed the electrolytic refining process, that is bit different, that's why I have discussed with the metallurgy itself. Now the next method is vapor phase refining. So the vapor phase refining is based for the purification of highly purified metal. In this method, basically the crude metal is first converted into a volatile compound at a moderate temperature, which on again heating at high temperature can be decomposed to the pure metal. So in this method, the first crude metal is converted into volatile compound by heating it with a suitable reagent, then decomposing the volatile compound at high temperature to give the pure metal. It can be subdivided into two: the Mond process, that is being applied in case of refining of nickel. In the case, the impure nickel, or you may say the crude nickel, is reacted or heated with the current of carbon monoxide at first at moderate temperature as 330 to 350 Kelvin, by which this nickel reacts with carbon monoxide to form nickel carbonyl or nickel tetracarbonyl, that is a volatile compound which, or on further strong heating at 450 to 470 Kelvin, converts into pure nickel, and carbon monoxide will be again formed that can be reused for the same process. Carbon monoxide can again be used. The next process in the vapor phase refining is the Van Arkel method. Basically, this method is very useful for the preparation of ultra pure metals. So it is generally applied for obtaining ultra pure metals by removing all the oxygen and nitrogen present in the form of impurities. If we see the example, so titanium, zirconium, hafnium are the common examples that are used in the space technology, is basically purified by this method. If suppose we are taking the example of zirconium, so in the case, the crude or impure zirconium is first treated or heated in an evacuated vessel with iodine at 870 Kelvin, by which zirconium tetraiodide, a covalent volatile compound, is formed, that on again heating strongly on a tungsten filament at 2075 Kelvin, by which it would be decomposed to give pure zirconium metal, and iodine would be released, and it can again be used for the same process. In the similar manner, for titanium, we can see that first it is to be heated at 523 Kelvin in an evacuated vessel to form titanium tetraiodide, and thereafter at 1700 Kelvin it would be decomposed to the pure titanium, and iodine can be again obtained, which can be further used for the same process. Now the next method of purification is the zone refining, or you may say it as a fractional crystallization method. Basically, this method is based on the principle that the impurities are more soluble in the molten state, or you may say the melt, than in the solid state of the metal. The most common examples are the semiconductors, we can say the silicon, germanium, gallium, boron, etc. So basically in this method we are to convert the impure metal as a bar, and then it is placed in this type of tube in which the inert atmosphere has been created, and now this impure metal which is being converted into a bar is heated at one end from these moving heaters. These are the moving circular heaters by which one end is being heated and it forms the molten zone or the melt. As we said, the impurities are more soluble in the melt in comparison to the solid metal, so the impurities will move towards the melt, and on cooling, this end which is being heated is converted into the or recrystallized to the pure metal, and thereafter the process is to be repeated many times. Several times the process of heating is to be repeated from one end to other, by which the pure metal would be collected to one end, and one end will become the impure, and the pure metal then can be cut, and like this the pure metal can be obtained. So in this process, the melt must be containing the impurities, because the impurities are more soluble in the melt, while the pure metal would be recrystallized on cooling. So these are some common methods, and by the process highly pure metals are obtained. Examples we have seen. So these are some common processes by which we can purify or refine the pure metals. Now only one method, that is chromatographic method, is left, that you have already studied in class 11th also. So I suggest that once you read the chromatographic method, and tomorrow I'll explain the column chromatography to you, and tomorrow would be the query session in which you are to ask your queries related to the chapter. Then I will give you the assignment, and from Monday we will start with the next chapter. Thank you.